Hello Collective, this is Tan from Artemis Oracle doing your full moon in Libra reading. The full moon in Libra is going to be on April 12th and 13th. So I just want to get started right away. I already pulled the cards for the Moonology and Moonology Manifestation deck. So we have a win-win outcome is forecast. And we have full moon in Libra, find a balance. So if you're not familiar, Libra is a sign about balance. It's about justice. It's a sign of love, justice, partnership, and finding balance. And since the full moon in Libra is going to be primarily focused on Libra's traits, Libra's characteristics, it's important for you to, at this time, find a balance between your needs and the desires of the people around you. You know, you can't give too much, but you can't give too little. And whoever's around you, they also have to be able to reciprocate whatever it is that you're providing them. So if you're at this point where you feel like you have been providing more, giving more of your time and your energy to other people, this may be your time to take a break and to nurture yourself, take care of yourself, okay? And the same can be said if you haven't been as reciprocal towards, you know, your partner, your friends, and your family, then this is the right time for you to make it right and extend yourself to them. You know, it's about give and take. It's not only about taking and it's not only about giving. It's about both there being equal reciprocity in a relationship or partnership, wherever there's some type of interactions, if that makes sense. It says, so with the, I wrote down notes, so that's why I keep looking down and I want to stay focused. All right. So, you know, the full moon is about things reaching, it's about the moon being completely revealed, in full display. So this indicates a time of a climax, reaching the end of something. So at this time, you're going to be seeing whatever you've been working on. You're going to see if it's reaping rewards, if you're reaping results, or if it's something that you need to kind of go back to the drawing board. You know, are you saying that your relationships are becoming more solid? Like you see, you can continue investing in it because there's equal investment and return? Or if it's a relationship that it's showing or it's kind of dwindling, like the feelings, the energy, the communication, the interactions have been kind of dwindling, then you're getting the indication that the relationship may need to end. You know, or you have to have a discussion with the person about whether or not you see your relationship heading in, where you see your relationship heading and where you want it to head. If it's time for you to part ways, or if it's time to, you know, buckle down and try to work on making the relationship stronger. So that's where you see the solidification of a relationship or the relationship ending itself, right? So also Libra is a time for negotiation. You know, this is a time to communicate, you know. So this may indicate, like, depending if you're at that point where you're working on contracts, negotiating a pay raise or whatever, this is the best time for there to be negotiation, because people tend to be a bit more open and receptive to bringing some sort of justice, balance in any situation. So this is the best time to start on any discussions about anything that may lead to negotiations, that may lead to some type of finalization, like with contracts, agreements. Yeah, mostly contracts and agreements. All right, let's see if there's anything else I'm missing. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, if you have been working on a project and you're now getting an indication of it's something you should continue working on, continue investing in, or if it's something that you may need to go back to the drawing board and seeing what changes need to be made, if what you've been doing has been working, or if you need to make some type of adjustments. This is the time to see that. But the advice is, because I ask Spirit, what do I need to communicate to you? And the Moonology, because I'm going to be using the Moonology messages card to pull a card for each sign. The card that fell out was Do Nothing and Embrace Uncertainty. So I feel like if there's certain, you know, everything is going to be revealed now. You know, that's how the full moon is. Things are going to reach its climax, and you're going to see how things are going to turn out, whether they're going to be in your favor, and in your favor could be something ending or something beginning, something getting stronger, or just something you needing to basically, I don't want to say collapse, but something that you kind of have to release, you know, let go of. And I feel like that's what it's saying here, is like, do nothing and embrace uncertainty. You know, whatever is meant to happen is going to happen. You know, don't try to force something to happen, because if it's not meant to work out, it's not going to work out no matter what you do. 555, as I'm saying that, you know, that's something that you may need to change at this time. This is where the change can happen, you know, releasing control, releasing your attachment to an outcome, and allowing things to unfold, unravel as they're meant to be, without you trying to manipulate a situation to work in your benefit, you know. So I'm going to start off with Aries. Okay, let's see what message Aries needs to know. Okay. I was going to pick one card. You got two cards, Aries. Stay in integrity. So this is a time where you're going to have to make sure that you're being honest. You are being authentic. That you aren't in any way being out of integrity, you know, being true to yourself, being true to your values, being true to your morals, and not trying to do anything that may be considered unjust, especially during Libra season. But the other card was process your feelings. You know, you may be feeling certain things and they may cause you to act out of character, you know. And when I say character, it's like if you already know how you are, your behavior and everything, and you know, sometimes we have this personality, just the way we present ourselves, and sometimes things may happen that may cause us to come out of integrity, where we act out of integrity. We're not being true to ourselves. We may even do something that goes against who we are. So if there's something that happens during this time, it's important for you to take time to process your feelings, take time for yourself, so that you can rebalance yourself, regain control, and that you don't do anything that you may regret later on. You know, so don't act impulsively. All right, Aries. Okay, so now we're going to Taurus. What advice do you have for Taurus? What advice does Taurus need to know? What message does Taurus need to know at this time? Okay, avoid drama. Okay, avoid drama. You know, with the full moon being displayed, they call it, people go, you ever heard of lunacy? Luna, moon. Luna means moon in Spanish or in Latin, right? I believe Spanish. I know Spanish is Luna. So this is just, so there may be people that may be coming out, acting out in any way. So if you see this, avoid drama, maintain your peace, make sure to take time to take care of yourself, allow the person to work out whatever it is that they need to work out, because that's a them issue and it's not a you issue. So do what you can to avoid drama when possible. And if anything, try to find a way, if you have no choice but to deal with whoever is, or whatever the dramatic situation is, try to find a way so that you can kind of come to some compromise, communicate. It's important to communicate and, you know, bring some type of resolution that may lead to you or whoever else, or lead a resolution to whatever this drama is coming from or stemming from. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay, now Gemini. What does Gemini need to know? Oh, Gemini, you got two cards. Protection. Right now, this is a time for you to protect your energy, because you're going through some changes at this time. So there may be some changes that may be a bit draining to you. So if that's the case, it's time for you to take time to rebalance yourself, rebalance your energy, recalibrate in some way. Make sure that you're putting your energy towards something that is productive and is going to yield positive results, rather than giving into something that is maybe out of your control. You know, there may be some changes that are happening or unraveling during this time that are out of your control, and you need to be able to center yourself and balance yourself during this time so that, you know, you can acclimate or adapt to the changes, but where you aren't being drained in any way. Okay, Gemini? So now we're going into Cancer. What does Cancer need to know? What message does Cancer need to hear, Spirit? What message does Cancer need to hear, Spirit? Message for Cancer. Woo. Boundaries. Wow. All right, Cancer. This is a time for you to maintain your boundaries. If you have been keeping your boundaries up, this may be a time to kind of find a way where you can find middle ground, where you can allow people in, but where you're able to still protect yourself, protect your energy in some way. If you've been in situations where you have been putting your boundaries, where you haven't had any boundaries, 11-11, as I say that, you need to put them up, protect your energy, you know, especially during this time where people may be acting out, maybe wanting and expecting more from you, since, you know, Cancers tend to be loving, nurturing people. So, you know, make sure that you hold up boundaries and you don't overextend yourself, so that you maintain some sort of balance within yourself, emotional balance, so physical balance, balance in your environment, okay? So next for Leo. What does Leo need to know? Okay, no. I gotta shuffle these cards. Good. You almost got the same cards as Aries, and no. Okay, one more shuffle, and then I'm gonna get a card for Leo. Okay, Leo, love. So you may be in a situation where there's love involved, or you may be doing something that you love, but, you know, make sure that you're making time to take care of yourself, take care of the people you love, but remember, do not overextend yourself. Find a balance between you taking time for self-love, self-care, and then taking care of the people that you love at this time. So I feel like that's your message, you know. If you are in a loving relationship or you are looking for love, make sure that you're not, Leos tend to be very generous. Make sure that you're not overextending yourself, that you're not being overly generous, because you don't want yourself to be feeling drained in any way. And especially if you're dealing with someone who may not be as reciprocal as you are, this is a time for you to pull back and pour love into yourself and take care of yourself at this time, okay? So, but if you feel like you've been taking more from someone, then this is a time for you. This is your call to show that person or people how much you love and care about them. Okay, so let's go to Virgo. What message does Virgo need to know? What message does Virgo need to know? Shadow work. This may be a time for you to do a little shadow work, you know. Virgo, you may be doing some shadow work at this time. You may be gaining some sort of insight about yourself, some understanding that may be starting to reveal, or as the full moon emerges. So, you know, whatever it is, maybe you've been having some fears. Face your fears. So whatever fears you may be having, now is the time to reflect on them. Think about how your fears have impacted you, and if they continue to do so, how its effects can trickle down to your future, you know, like the trajectory of your fears, how it will negatively impact you. This is a time to reflect on why those fears even exist, and in what ways you can help yourself overcome those fears at this time. Okay, so that's for Virgo. Now we're going into Libra. Can I get a card for Libra? Libra, what does Libra need to know? What does Libra need to know? Okay, so we had a couple cards fly out for you, Libra. So the first card is protection. So this is your full moon. So protect your energy. Only give to what gives to you. If you need to, retreat. Take time for yourself to take care of yourself. Pour into yourself. Also, you may be having some sort of fears. So whatever fears you're having, make sure that they're not impacting you. That they, you know, finding a way to balance those fears. Look into why those fears exist, and are they justified? Are your fears justified? You know, because the shadow work card also came out again for you. So this may be a time for you to really reflect on how you are showing up in whatever spaces and places you are, and you have been having some fears, and you may be called to do some shadow work as the card came out. I have to really shuffle these cards, but yes, since this is your moon, you're gonna feel this. You're gonna feel this. So yeah, make sure that the fears that you have are justified, and reflect on how you can, what can you do to overcome your fears, the same way Virgo has to. But yeah, protect yourself, Tim. Protect yourself, and even protect yourself from your own fears. Okay, Libra? Maybe that monster under your bed doesn't even exist. Can we get a card for Scorpio? What does Scorpio need to know about the full moon? Okay, you got, wow, it's interesting. We have take a breath, moonstruck, and intuition, moon maybe. So if there's something that you are maybe having to consider at this time, what it's asking for you is to take a break, take a breath. Don't feel like you're forced to have to agree to something that you may not want to agree to. You know, use your intuition, use your discernment to determine whether or not whatever it is that you're being asked to do, or you may be being signed to do, is something that aligns with you in any way. You know, take the time to reflect on whether you would, whatever you have to consider is going to work out in your favor. You know, use your intuition. This is your time to even balance your emotions and your actions, especially if you are one, and I could if you're one that may be reactive. If there's something that triggers you in some way, take a breath, take time away, take care of yourself, recenter yourself, balance yourself. This probably is even indicating that you may even need to meditate at this time, because there may be something coming out that may really, you know, and may require some action on your part. But take the time to withdraw, take a breath, reflect, and go within to see what your next move should be. Okay? Now, we're going into Sagittarius. Shuffle these. Sagittarius. What does Sagittarius need to know for the full moon? Oh, releasing. That card came out fast. Releasing. So there may be something that you have to release. There may be something revealing itself at the full moon that is basically something that you cannot deny anymore. It's something that's going to require you to make a decision and see if it's something that's worth holding on to, or if it's something that you have to release. You know? Yes, knowledge underneath. You're going to gain some knowledge at this time. There's going to be some information that's going to come out. It may be something that, since we are in Libra season, you're going to feel some sort of injustice in some way that is going to ask you, you know, do you feel like it's fair to stay in this situation, to be dealing with this person? And if not, you're going to realize, no, it's not. Or if it is, and if it's something that isn't, then you have to release it. So you may be getting some knowledge, information, or news that's going to let you know, or have you questioning whether or not you have to release something. Okay, Sagittarius? All right, now we're going into Capricorn. What does Capricorn need to know for the full moon in Libra? What does Capricorn... this card just... accept help. So you may be, you know, Capricorn... I'm a Capricorn Mars. Yeah, my Mars is in Capricorn. If you need help, this is asking for you to go into your feminine energy. You know, as much as, and I mentioned this in a reading that's going to be posting soon, you not you, but you may be in your, excuse me, in your masculine energy at this time, feeling like you have to do everything, that you have to be in control, that you have to, you know, that you have to do this and that. You have a checklist, you have your responsibilities and all that. But there's some things that you're going to have to, at this time, release, so that you can release your ego. Okay, we're going into the double card now, because that's your card. You're going to have to release your ego and know when it's time for you to accept help. You don't have to carry the burden on your own. You know, it should be balanced, especially if there are other people involved. You know, if it's a family thing, it's a partner thing, it's a parenting thing, you know, do your part, but allow people to do theirs too. Don't feel like you have to do everything yourself. And if you see that there is some type of imbalance or injustice, then this is your call to action to ask for help, you know, because you should not have to carry the burden on your own, you know. Don't allow your ego and pride to get in the way of you asking for help, because there's nothing wrong with asking for help, especially when you need it and you're overburdened. All right, because everything should be balanced. You know, there has to be a balance, you know, work-life balance, love-life balance, you know. Okay, so now we're going to Aquarius. What does Aquarius need to know? Okay, embrace uncertainty. You may be at this point right now where you're not sure what is going on. The full moon may reveal some sort of stalemate. So if the stalemate is due to someone else's inaction, then maybe this is your call to no longer give into a situation. You know, don't overgive. Don't just retreat. Don't try to do anything that will force the situation because of a possible mindset you have about the outcome. Embrace uncertainty. See things as they are and allow things to unfold the way they're meant to. Okay? So I think that's your message, you know. And if you need support, you know, make sure that you get the support that you need, you know. If you're not feeling sure, you talk about it with friends, meet up with friends, but don't basically entangle yourself in a situation that is probably feeling like a stalemate, like there hasn't been any sort of movement on your part. I mean, not on your part, possibly on your part, but there may be a reason why you're not taking any action, you know. It's something that you know deep down inside. Okay, so now we're up to Pisces. What does Pisces need to know? Pisces, courage. There may be something coming up that's going to require you to be brave. You know, it's going to show you how brave you are, how courageous you are with dealing with whatever you've been going through or whatever obstacle may be revealed in any way. And I'm not saying that because to scare you or anything, or maybe it's just a realization that you've gone through so much and you are now realizing how strong and brave, courageous you have been for your whatever battles you've been facing. You know, it's your truth. Yeah, that's your truth. All right. Or maybe this is your this is your realization, or maybe this is me letting you know, yes, confirming what you've already are learning or realizing about yourself, is that you are a brave, courageous person. Okay, and that whatever you want, you are able to go after it. You know, whoever you are, you're someone who is brave and strong and honest. You know, and yes. All right, so I hope you all enjoyed this quick full moon in Libra reading. It's still going to be a pink moon, you know, so I hope the full moon season, wow. Yes, avoid drama, Taurus. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this reading, and if it was helpful, please let me know in the comment section. Give this video a thumbs up. Let me know what your sign is, and if you want to see more from me, Artemis Oracle, please subscribe. I'm trying to reach 500 subscribers. That's my current goal, you know, And your likes, your supports, your comments, your shares, they mean the world to me. So I hope you have a wonderful full moon weekend ahead, and I'm sending you much love. Take care. Bye.